Coming up next, Margaux Wosk, tapping into your creativity, entrepreneurship, and advocacy. Javier Herrera, managing anxiety with exercise.
Présentateur, présentatrice à venir. Margaux Wosk. Comment utiliser votre créativité et l'entrepreneuriat? Javier Herrera, la gestion de l'anxiété par l'exercice.
Include, understand, accept. Support the autism community in Canada with a t-shirt or hoodie that gives back.
Communauté de l'autisme au Canada avec un t-shirt ou un chandail à capuchon qui donne en retour.
www.autism-canada.shopify.com. Awesome Conference is sponsored by
La conférence Awesome est parrainée par
BCGEU, BC General Employees Union. We are here to help. Questions about autism? Looking for resources or support in your area? Autism Canada's Family Support, here to help. Reach out to our family support team, 1-800-983-1795 or info@autismcanada.org.
Nous sommes ici pour aider. Questions au sujet de l'autisme? Vous cherchez des ressources ou du soutien dans votre région? Soutien à la famille d'Autisme Canada, ici pour aider. Veuillez communiquer avec notre représentant ou représentante du soutien à la famille au 1-800-983-1795 ou à info@autismcanada.org.
Safety first. We take the safety of our community seriously. Sensory support kits for individuals and organizations, emergency stickers for home and car, recognizing behaviors training for emergency responders. For more information, email us at info@autismcanada.org.
La sécurité avant tout, nous prenons la sécurité de notre communauté au sérieux. Trousse de support sensoriel pour les individus et les organisations, autocollants d'urgence pour la maison et la voiture, formation sur Recognizing Behavior Training pour les intervenants et intervenantes d'urgence. Pour plus d'informations, à info@autismcanada.org.
Margaux Wosk, on entrepreneurship, self-advocacy, and tapping into creativity.
L'entrepreneuriat sur la défense des intérêts et la créativité.
Margaux Wosk, Retrophiliac, they, them, is an autistic, non-binary, self-taught artist, designer, writer, entrepreneur, disability advocate, and activist based in Vancouver, BC, Unceded Coast Salish Territory. Margaux has always been a creative person. Coming from an eccentric family of artists, they credit them for fostering their unique vision. They have been able to utilize their one-of-a-kind ideas as an outlet for positive change, self-expression, and vibrant works of art. Margaux designs merchandise, including a line of neurodiversity pride pieces, and hopes to break down barriers and eliminate stigma. Proudly, they utilize their art to open a dialogue of what autistic and disabled people are capable of. Margaux's body of work comes in many forms, including vibrant retro-inspired paintings and mixed media work, to enamel pins, patches, and stickers. Most notably, Margaux's neurodiversity and autistic pride collections have garnered attention from around the world. Utilizing their art to open a dialogue of what disabled people are capable of, Margaux continues to trailblaze the way for other self-employed people in their position.
Margaux Wosk, Retrophiliac, elle, est une personne autiste qui exerce l'art, qui écrit, designer et propriétaire d'entreprise, activiste non-binaire, autodidacte, basée à Vancouver, Unceded Coast Salish Territory. Margaux a toujours été une personne créative. Venant d'une famille d'artistes excentriques, elle les crédite pour favoriser leur vision unique. Et elles ont été en mesure d'utiliser leurs idées uniques comme moyen de changement positif, d'expression personnelle et d'œuvres d'art dynamiques. Margaux conçoit des marchandises, y compris une gamme d'articles sur la fierté de la neurodiversité et espère éliminer les obstacles et les stigmatisations. Fièrement, ils utilisent leur art pour ouvrir un dialogue de ce que les personnes autistes avec des besoins particuliers sont capables. Le travail de Margaux se présente sous de nombreuses formes, notamment des peintures vibrantes, d'inspiration rétro et des œuvres mixtes, des enamel pins, des patches et des autocollants. Plus particulièrement, les collections de neurodiversité et de fierté autistique de Margaux attirent l'attention du monde entier, utilisant l'art pour ouvrir un dialogue sur ce dont les personnes avec des besoins particuliers sont capables. Margaux continue de montrer la voie aux autres propriétaires d'entreprises indépendantes.
Hi, I'm Margaux. I'm an autistic person in British Columbia, and today I'm going to talk to you about entrepreneurship, self-advocacy, and tapping into creativity. I am somebody who has built their business from the ground up. I design neurodiversity pride, autistic pride, and a bunch of other items that come in the form of pins, patches, stickers, keychains, and so much more. I was able to start my business by getting a BC Arts Council grant because as it currently stands, there are no grants that I know of that aim to help autistic or disabled entrepreneurs to have those startup funds. I think the important thing about entrepreneurship is to have a vision of what it is that you want to create, design, make, and sell. And with that being said, I think it's incredibly important to have that clear vision because that is what is going to propel you further into being successful. For me, because of that initial grant, I am now at over 3,000 sales and over 20 retail locations that carry my goods. I suggest that having your designs made up and having a wonderful support system can really help. But it's also important for us to help each other. And as somebody who has a very unique point of view on things, I have found that I have really come into my own in terms of figuring this all out. I do not have a post-secondary education, and I want people to remember that your success in the education system will not necessarily determine your success with your business or with your life. For me, I didn't do very well in the education system. I actually dropped out in 11th grade and got my GED. But I have always loved business and I have always loved marketing, design, art, and I have found the way to combine all of those things into creating something really magical and really special. So I'm thankful for that, and I would love for there to be more autistic entrepreneurs because I think we have a lot to offer, and for many of us, self-employment is the most accessible employment that we can find or we can kind of create. I have sensitivity to light, I have sensitivity to smells, I have sensitivity to textures, I get tired during the day, and this has allowed me to really control my environment, and it has been an incredible option. And I wish more people thought of it as an option, and I wish that we were believed in a little bit more. But if you're watching this, it's possible that you have that built-in support system to already get started. And there's lots of wonderful videos on YouTube. I also run Made by Autistics Marketplace on Facebook, and I help a lot of entrepreneurs, artists, creators, makers if they have any questions, and I'm happy to share my knowledge and get people on their way to hopefully a successful endeavor and the ability to perhaps look after themselves. Although needing help is nothing to be ashamed of, and I certainly need assistance at times. So I do my very best, and a lot of the time I do it alone, but it keeps me very busy, and I am able to advocate very successfully through my work. And this brings me to the next subject that I'd like to talk about, which is self-advocacy. I am a very diligent self-advocate. For me, that means really utilizing my voice and my confidence to create positive social change. And with my merchandise, I have been able to do that. I have been able to create social change by putting a physical item in somebody's hand and them seeing it, and seeing that I put that I am autistic on it. I put proudly autistic or autistic artist on everything I do, because it is important to me to be able to break down barriers, reduce stigma, and do it through my work. I am a member of a nonprofit organization here in British Columbia called BC People First, and I am the Lower Mainland West director. And a lot of what I get to do with my self-advocacy is also advocate for others as well. So it's not only self-advocacy, but it's much broader than that. The scope in which I do my work is public speaking, so in public around people, which I love to do. I love to get in front of people and speak. I also have the opportunity to help with little Zoom meetings that we have and presentations that we have. I recently moderated my own one. But I think it's important that if you want to get into self-advocacy, that you know that there's options and you know that there are groups. So for instance, there are different self-advocacy groups that probably operate out of your province, and you can always reach out to them and see how you can get involved. Many times they look for volunteers, they look for new members, they look for people to engage with them. And we love when more people get involved, because when we as autistic people stand up for ourselves and we contribute to a lot of the conversations that are sometimes had without us being included, we can create positive social change for not only ourselves, but for so many other people, because firsthand experience is so much more important than people perhaps co-opting our voice. And some of us are more confident than others, and that's okay. Even if you don't want to speak publicly, there's so many other roles that you can take. You can write blog posts, you can create petitions, you can create social media. So for instance, I'm on TikTok and I love to create videos and talk about all the different things that I do that pertains to my advocacy, activism, my business. I share all of those things. And these opportunities through some of these organizations, or even independently, can be very large. Did you know that you could contact media? You have the opportunity to contact your local news, your television stations, your radio stations, your newspapers, the magazines that are in your area, and share your story with them. They don't always go somewhere. I know that I have tried multiple times to get certain things published or attention on certain things, and it has been incredibly challenging. But that doesn't mean that there's ever a point to give up, because we need to keep going, and giving up, for me at least, is never an option. I've also met some wonderful people through these nonprofits and through these disability organizations and autism organizations, and those people can help lift you up and help get your message out there when you have something that is really important that you want to get out to the world. So for instance, I fight really hard for disabled small business owners to have resources, and I'm going to continue to fight. So having a clear vision in terms of what it is that you advocate for can move mountains in terms of being able to hone in on your skills, and also doing research, Googling, getting a lot of information about what it is that you're doing, because it's so important to make sure that we as autistic people contribute to the conversation about autistic people, because for so many years, again, we have been left out. And I think that the most important thing is when people see us. When I spoke at our provincial budget meeting last year, I was shocked when I was told that a lot of the organizations that had showed up were people speaking on behalf of disabled or autistic people. But the people themselves, people like me, people like you, weren't even there doing the work. But we had other people talking on our behalf, and we know best. We know best what is the best for us and for our community. And having those conversations and ensuring that you can make a positive difference is just the tip of the iceberg, because these things take time and we cannot expect immediate gratification. However, we just keep going. And yeah, petitions are wonderful, interacting on social media, getting involved in groups, and you can even start your own group. You could make a Facebook group and invite your friends and have their friends invite their friends, and so on and so forth. It's a very exciting prospect, and it's something that I absolutely love to do, and it has made me feel less lonely and more connected. The last topic that I would like to talk about is how I and how you can tap into your creativity. If you are an artist or a designer, or you want to be an artist or a designer, there are so many things that you can do. For instance, online you can find drawing or painting prompts, and these are usually daily, a lot of the time on Instagram, and they'll give you a topic of something that you can draw or paint every day for the whole month, and sometimes even longer. You don't necessarily have to pick the topic for that specific month, but what you can absolutely do is you can pick a topic and get going. And creative blocks can be very challenging to get through. You also don't have to be stuck in spending a lot of money on supplies. Oftentimes you may have a pen and paper lying around, and that can be sufficient. But you could also go to your dollar store, your art supply store, and get more items to help your creativity flourish. Getting beautiful colors of paint, getting some canvases or pencil crayons, or even crayons are super fun. But you have options, and I think it's important to remember that you don't need to hold yourself up to an unrealistic standard if you're concerned about how your art is going to come across or come by, or if it's even good. Because we're constantly learning, we're changing, we're evolving, we're always increasing our skill set. And I think it's very important to continue with that, because you never know where your art or where your designs are going to end up. And I also feel like there are great YouTube videos that you can watch that can definitely help spark your creativity. My group on Facebook, Made by Autistic's Community, is just one of the many places that you can share your art. If you want feedback, you can ask for it. You could potentially collaborate on something digitally with someone. And the community of autistic artists is huge. There are lots of us out there, and we love to interact with each other and share our ideas and our feedback and work collaboratively. It's a wonderful thing, and I feel very grateful for that. But never limit yourself. You can make things out of paper mache, out of toilet paper rolls, out of cardboard. You could watch some episodes of an art show like Art Attack. You could potentially go to the library and get some books on art and creativity and creating and making, which is also a wonderful place to go and get inspired. But sometimes it just takes watching a movie or watching a show or going to look at flowers or, you know, sitting with your pet if you have one and wanting to do a portrait of them. But I believe firmly that creativity is within all of us. I think everybody has the ability to be creative. It may come easier to some people, and some people may be very stuck in their ways that they are not creative. But we have the advantage of seeing the world in a different way. And for me, I'm thankful that I've been able to create these designs and these vibrant paintings that speak to people. And when I get the opportunity to see work done by other autistic people, it brings me joy because it gives me a glimpse into somebody's heart and their soul and what they're capable of. And being able to have that raw form of self-expression put down on canvas or paper is truly special. And I hope that you're able to tap into your creativity because you have a lot to share with the world and we would all love to see it. It's amazing what we can do in terms of our self-advocacy, our entrepreneurship, our determination, our creativity, our lives are truly, we're just all truly very unique and we all have something wonderful to offer. So I thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned a little something and I hope that you feel empowered to make something awesome.
Margaux's merchandise is available on
La marchandise de Margaux est disponible sur
retrophiliac.etsy.com and www.shopretrophiliac.com.